Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hello and welcome, wrestling fans, to another retro review for Cheap Shot Entertainment. Today we're squeezing our way through 2003 and this brings us to Judgment Day, and it took place on May the 18th, 2003 at the Charlotte Coliseum in Charlotte, North Carolina. It is the 5th edition of Judgment Day, and it is a Raw and Smackdown joint pay-per-view. The original brand split, of course, took place a couple of years prior, and the event had an attendance of 13,000 fans, and the main event was Brock Lesnar versus Big Show. It also had an appearance on WWE Smackdown Here Comes the Pain. Great game. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a good show from what I remember. It's got Stone Cold and Bischoff doing their joint general manager duties, and that comes off the back of Backlash, where Stone Cold would come back the night after on Raw and take up his place as the joint general manager with Eric Bischoff. And yeah, it's a good dynamic. It works, and Stone Cold is doing a good job here as always of getting the fans ready, making them cheer, getting them in the mood. And just before we go into the main part of the video, I'm going to give you the Sunday Night Heat results, because we don't get those on the network. I am watching this on the network. The Hurricane defeated Steven Richards on Sunday Night Heat, which was, of course, back in the day, the pre-show event, where they actually had wrestling on it. Imagine that, eh? Anyway, we're going to go into the main part of the video and podcast. We're going to crack on with watching the show, because in 2003 they had some really good opening packages, and just looking at the screenshot that's on my TV at this moment in time, it's going to be a good one, so I'll see you there.
This is awesome!
So we set off with the show. Stone Cold comes out, says he's going to drink some beer. He's got himself a skybox. He goes, gives Taz a can of beer and heads up to his skybox. He gets escorted up there. Obviously Taz and Michael Cole are on the commentary for SmackDown, JR and the King for Raw. Like I said, it is a joint pay-per-view. But just saying that, the opening package was really good, and it was themed around Judgment Day and a noose and going to the gallows and all that kind of stuff, which was really cool. They don't do those things anymore, which is a real shame. Anyway, we go into the first match, which is a 6-man tag. Having done plenty of 6-man tags, both refereeing and being part of, whether in the ring or on the outside as a manager, these things are usually a bit of a cluster, and it is a way to get people on the show. So we have John Cena, the Doctor of Thugonomics, as he was back in 2003, coming out to the ring, having a rap, telling people that he's going to make them cheer for the good guys, like the Godfather movies. He's got Goodfellas, and he's going to be called Corleone because the girl likes Italian sausage and she swallowed his. Anyway, he's teaming with the FBI, Chuck Palumbo and Johnny Stamboli. Of course, Nunzio is also part of that group, but not in the match. They are going against Rhino, Spanky, of course, Brian Kendrick. Had multiple runs in WWE and been subsequently fired from each and every one of them, and in AEW as well. And Chris Benoit. But obviously they can't delete him from history completely, because you know, he's on plenty of pay-per-views, and people want to watch these pay-per-views. And for what it's worth, I'm probably going to get some heat for this, but as a wrestler, I do appreciate who he is, and that's my opinion. As a person, not so much. Obviously, he did what he did, and it's absolutely deplorable. But as an in-ring competitor, he was very, very good, and I enjoyed most, if not all, of his matches. Anyway, this being the side one that I didn't particularly enjoy, because obviously it's a six-man tag. So the team of Chris Benoit, Rhino and Spanky get on top really early. Spanky hitting the outside dive before the bell's even rung, and Spanky is the man designated to be inside the ring with John Cena. Starts throwing forearms. Cena, obviously the more powerful, starts throwing forearms on Spanky and gets the upper hand. It would all break down very, very quickly, with all six men appearing in the ring to take one another out. Chris Benoit would hit a diving headbutt. The referee completely lost control here, which is understandable. Like I say, I've been a referee in six-man tags, and they are not fun. So, yeah, I've lost track of who's in the ring and who's not. Spanky would get a tag on Chris Benoit as he took the sternum bump into the corner. And whether that was planned or not, it just seems like a little bit of oversight, because generally in a six-person tag, in a tag match in general, you don't throw your opponent into their own corner. You keep them away from there. But, like I say, it would come down to Chris Benoit getting the Nunzio coming in, Chris Benoit getting the crippler crossface on Nunzio. This gave Stamboli and Palumbo enough time to take out Spanky with their finishing move, and subsequently John Cena, Johnny Stamboli and Chuck Palumbo would win the match. Now, the most impressive thing about this match is the fact that Chuck Palumbo managed to keep his cigar stub in his mouth for the whole match. Very impressive indeed. Even though cigars are horrid things, I was quite impressed by this. Anyway, really difficult to judge this one. Really difficult to give it a score. They obviously had a set amount of time to get everything in, which they did. Wasn't ever going to be much of a wrestling match. It did have a little bit of a story coming into it, but ultimately it was just there. Usually the first match is to set people up, get them cheering, and I suppose that's what this did. You know, 3 fan favourites against John Cena and the FBI, who are McMahon's sort of hitmen, if you like. But ultimately it fell way down. 1 cheap shot out of 5. I'm not going to give this anymore because it wasn't great. Anyway, we move on. We go back to the Skybox with Stone Cold Steve Austin, and he is chatting to the lady who's serving him beer and hot dogs and stuff. So if you've got hot dogs, if you've got burgers, you've got mustard, yeah, he's going to go and get mustard, giving him a beer. And then Eric Bischoff shows up and says, everything here, all that stuff that you see is 50-50. Co-general managers, Skybox. But Bischoff wants some scotch. We don't have scotch. We only have beer. Miller Lite. Miller Lite. Not Muller Lite, that is yogurt, and that'd be completely different. Miller Lite is the only thing they have, and subsequently they've set up the Skybox with a load of boxes of Miller Lite. So Bischoff has the lady pour the beer into the cup, and Stone Cold gives him a cheers, and his beer goes flying all over the window. Now you know why the window was shut. Obviously to keep the fan noise out, but also because of that spot right there. So we go into the next match, which is another tag team match. Hold on a second, there's 3 tag team matches in a row, because I've just got up to the 3rd match. So this is a tag team match, and it is Stacy Keibler accompanying Test and Big Papa Pump to the ring. They are a makeshift tag team. Stacy Keibler thinks they can get them firing on all cylinders, but before they make their way to the ring, we have La Resistance, Sylvain Renier and Rene Dupree, who happens to live down the road. Literally, from me, which is crazy. Well, I say down the road, in the next town over from where I live. So, that is nuts. It doesn't look anything like he did back here 20 years ago. Definitely not, but crazy, eh? Someone in WWE was there for quite a while. He's now living in the next town across. Crazy world we live in. Small world as well. Anyway, La Resistance cut a promo. They say, I don't know why you Americans hate us. You're all stupid and ignorant and all that kind of stuff. Well, I mean, it's a big clue, isn't it? It's a big clue there as to why people hate you. Anyway, yeah, Test and Scott Steiner come down to the ring. Everything goes wrong. Miscommunication. La Resistance win the match. Not much going on here at all. Constantly, Scott Steiner and Test are having blows. Takes away from La Resistance, who were actually a very good tag team, and obviously this is on the Raw side of things as well, so it's not getting any better at this point. I do feel like it does get better later on, but it's been a good long time since I've watched this pay-per-view. May eat my words. Anyway, so the whole time Stacy Keibler is in the mix as well, with Test being the boyfriend and Scott Steiner just being there because they've got nothing else for him to do, because he went into the main event with Triple H and he wasn't very good. So now he's in a tag team with Test. I feel sorry for Test, personally. Love Scott Steiner. I love his promos anyway, especially the Scott Steiner maths, but he wouldn't come into his own until he went to TNA. And that is fact. So, what am I going to give this match? It's got to be another 1 cheap shot out of 5. Hopefully, the next match, things will pick up a little bit. Moving on now, we're going to the back with Eddie Guerrero, and he's being interviewed about the missing link to his tag team, Chavo Guerrero. And Eddie says that they're underestimating him and the fact that he can choose a tag team partner for this match. Now, he says that it's got to be someone who's just as crazy as Ebato as he is, and someone who can be trained in the ways of Los Guerreros, and that person is Tajiri, who walks in, says something in Spanish, and proceeds to be very Japanese, nodding his head and going, yeah. But I love Tajiri, he's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Of course, they are going against the current tag team champions, Team Angle. And this match is also a ladder match. So yes, we've had 3 tag team champions, 3 tag team matches in a row on this show at the very start. But this one has an extra stipulation. It also features 2 very good teams in terms of the Smackdown tag division, who were absolutely killing it when compared to Raw back in 2003. Also, those tag team titles are absolutely gorgeous. I did have one. I had to sell it. I fell on hard times. I wish I hadn't. It's one of those things. That is life. And if I ever get a chance to buy another one, I probably will, because that Blue Tag Team Championship from 2003. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And the only thing that could make it even more beautiful is Stephanie McMahon posing with them when they first came in. Anyway, enough about that. Let's get on to the match. So the match is obviously, it's no rules. There's ladders involved. You can use other weapons as well, but these teams use the ladder brilliantly. Not too much, but really well. And they do it safely, which is a very difficult thing when it comes to a ladder, because all four of these guys, they're flipping and flying and flopping all over the arena. Several spots where people are tipped off the top of the ladder, and one in particular is Charlie Haas, who hits hard on that floor. Now, as a wrestling trainee, I find it difficult to even step down from the ring apron because it's a long way down. Can you imagine being on top of a ladder and getting pushed off? With the only thing that would break your fall, either the steel girder on the side of the ring or your face. Out of the two, I don't know which one I'd choose, but there you go. Wicked match. Really good match. The pace has really picked up with this one. Back and forth. Obviously, it is tornado tag rules. There's no tagging in and out or anything like that. The referee is literally just there to make sure that whoever grabs the championships from the ring at the top of the ladder does so properly and brings both titles down. I don't even know what would happen in a tag team ladder match if one team got one championship and one team got the other, because there is always that possibility, I suppose. Anyway, we weave our way. I will get my words out. We weave our way to the end of this match, where it is Eddie Guerrero who is attempting to climb the ladder after doing a sunset flip bomb on Charlie Haas, taking him out completely. He is lifeless in the middle of that ring. And Eddie Guerrero is climbing. Shelton Benjamin comes in to try and stop him. Tajiri comes in, squeezes his way underneath the bottom rope. He'd been taken out earlier on by Team Angle. Climbs far enough to spit the green mist into Shelton Benjamin's face, taking him out completely. Eddie Guerrero goes up top and retrieves the title. One given to Tajiri and the other for himself. What a match. Really good match. Possibly one of the most underrated ladder matches in WWE history. They always go on about the triple threat TLC matches and other ladder matches. Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon. Genuinely, this match is very, very good. And I'm going to give it 4.5 cheap shots out of 5. And wow, what a match this is. So we go into the skybox again, and Stone Cold giving props to the tag team match that we've just seen. Absolutely phenomenal. Offers Eric Bischoff a beer, who drinks it like a, as Stone Cold would describe it, a sissy. And whilst eating a burger. Looks like a tasty burger, to be fair. But we are going into another multi-person match now, because it is the over-the-top Battle Royal for the Intercontinental Championship. And it is Christian, Booker T, RVD, Test, Val Venus, Goldust, Kane. Is there anybody else? Oh yeah, Lance Storm and Chris Jericho going against each other for the chance to win that championship. The only person that hasn't won the championship previously is Booker T. So how would this play out? Well, we get Kane out first after all the people in the Battle Royal team up on him. RVD takes him out. Kane doesn't like the fact that his tag team partner took him out. So even though he's been eliminated, he then comes back in, chokeslams everybody, including RVD, which would eventually lead to RVD's elimination. Test goes out as well, and Val Venus, in fact, pretty quickly, and we're down to the final four: Chris Jericho, Christian, Booker T, and Goldust. Now, all four of these guys have formed tag teams in some way, shape, or form with each other, and it is Booker T and Goldust on top. Booker T is almost eliminated by Goldust. Booker T turns it round on Goldust. Goldust goes out next. It is then a 2-on-1 situation with Christian and Chris Jericho against Booker T. It would be Christian who would hit the unprettier on. Oh no, it was it wasn't the unprettier. It was the reverse DDT. And Chris Jericho going for the lion salt. Christian then would betray his former tag team partner and eliminate Chris Jericho from the Battle Royal. It is then Booker T and Christian. Christian gets eliminated promptly, but in the melee, it is Chad Patton that is taken down by a swinging drop kick or pendulum drop kick from the ropes. And no, it wasn't. It was a baseball sliding drop kick. Hush my mouth. And Chad Patton's out. Christian gets eliminated. He doesn't actually call for the bell. It is the music that just hits to signal that Booker T has won. And Pat Patterson is going to give the belt to Booker T. Christian has a marred and takes Pat Patterson out, the first ever Intercontinental Champion. Very well documented from 1979. Christian gets in the ring, takes out Booker T with a title shot, throws the belt out, and throws Booker T out. It is at this point that Chad Patton miraculously comes back to life and announces Christian as the winner. And we have a new tag team champion, new Intercontinental Champion in the form of the Peep Master, the Peep Show, whatever you want to call him, Christian. And we move on. Actually, a pretty enjoyable match. Very quick, though, for a Battle Royal. However, it was decent. So I'm going to go ahead and give this one 2.5 cheap shots out of 5 as we move on in the event. So we move on. After the awesomeness that was the ladder match, we get a bikini invitational between Tori and Sable, and it seems to be that this rivalry, if you can call it that, has been developing ever since Backlash, where Sable's come back, called Tori fat. She's definitely not fat, of course. And it seems to be like they had a bikini contest on Smackdown, and Sable decided that Tori lost. 2003, everybody. And now we get a bikini invitational. The fans vote, Tori wins, Blair. Moving on, and we get another match. You can call it a match. It is Mr. America. What's up with that? Who is interviewed by Gregory Helms, Ace Reporter. The Ace Reporter says, I have it on good authority that you, Mr. America, are someone else under that mask. And when Mr. America says, well, dude, my sources tell me that you are also the Hurricane. What's up with that? That actually is probably the best part of this match, because that interaction right there was funny. We move on to the match. It is Mr. America versus Roddy Piper, who comes out with Sean O'Haire. Mr. America invites Zach Gowen down to the ring, the definition of a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest. Of course, it was Roddy Piper who grabbed the leg of Zach Gowen. It was Hulk Hogan who gave the American flag to Zach Gowen. This was all moving towards getting Zach Gowen onto the roster. Can't really call this a match. It's two 50-plus-year-olds jiggling about. Piper more than Hulk Hogan. Sean O'Haire gets involved. There is lots of rest holds, lots of sleeper holds, which Piper used to do back in the day, so I suppose that's okay. And it would be Hulk Hogan who would come back from the sleeper hold, do his fight back, do his comeback, his shine, the three punches, the whip, the big boot, and the big leg, or the leg drop rather, and go for the pin. It would be Mr. McMahon, who is down at ringside at this point, would go and try and stop the count. But it would be Zach Gowen that stopped McMahon stopping the count. McMahon then goes for Zach Gowen. Zach Gowen climbs in the ring. After the win, obviously, it is Mr. America, definitely not Hulk Hogan, that wins the match. Mr. McMahon goes, okay, and walks off. That's pretty much it. But before all of those matches, we also got a segment with Eric Bischoff and Stone Cold up in the skybox. Eric Bischoff now is getting drunk, and Stone Cold is encouraging him to drink more, eat more, soak up the alcohol, and it's going to develop, shall we say. I seem to remember this pay-per-view being a lot better than it actually is. So with that match, I'm not going to rate the bikini contest because it's a bikini contest. And with that match, I'm going to give it a 1 cheap shot out of 5. And that is being very, very generous. We move on to the next match now, which is Triple H, the World Heavyweight Champion, versus Kevin Nash, the returning Kevin Nash after being introduced back into the WWE with the NWO. He's come back expecting to form his clique with his old buddies Triple H and Shawn Michaels, finds them at odds with each other, and of course is caught between a rock and a hard place. He decides to go with Shawn Michaels on this one because Triple H made that choice for him in terms of Triple H turning his back on his former friend. And it leads to this match. We get a nice promo package. We get Stephanie walking up to her former husband and basically wishing him good luck, telling him to be careful and all that kind of stuff. Triple H walks straight past her. And obviously Stephanie's face at this point. North Carolina's own Ric Flair, makes his entrance into the arena to great fanfare because he's a hometown boy. And then we get the match. Like I said, I thought this pay-per-view was much better than it was. I was very wrong. So far we've had one good match. Maybe 1.5. And then the rest of it has been promos from Stone Cold and Bischoff, along with a bikini contest. Not much to say about this match. Kevin Nash comes in like a house on fire, gets the upper hand. Triple H does try and come back, but cannot do so. Ends up with a sledgehammer shot and in front of the referee as well, which gives the referee chance to disqualify Triple H, and he keeps the championship. Oh yes, it was for the championship as well. Hey. 1 cheap shot out of 5. At least this makes it easy to edit because there's a lot of copy and pasting with these scores. We move on to another segment with Eric Bischoff and Stone Cold now, where they're still in the skybox. Stone Cold is now getting hugged by the waitress, which I'm sure he's loving, and Eric Bischoff looks like he's going to blow, and he does subsequently blow chunks and into the crowd as well, and all over that poor girl that was serving the pizza and the burgers and stuff like that. Yeah. WWE, 2003 people. Don't expect too much. It is the beginning of the downturn. Luckily, we've turned a corner now, and it is actually entertaining again. But it wouldn't be for another 20 years. No, I'm lying. It would be for another, 15 years before it started getting entertaining again. Ironically, that would be during the pandemic, where they really had to try. And it just went up and up from there, in my opinion. But anyway, we move on to the next match. So, the next match is for the Women's Championship. And it is actually a pretty good match. It wasn't given very much time, but for the amount of time that all these matches have been given, this one was actually entertaining. It is a fatal four-way match featuring Jazz, the current reigning and defending champion as of Backlash 2003. She is being accompanied by Theodore Long, who says the man is under conspiracy to take that title away from his client. And the challengers, Trish Stratus, former champion, Victoria, who is being accompanied by Stephen Richards, former champion, and Jacqueline, former champion. All of these competitors are very good in their own right. Now, in 2003, the women's division was just there. People would rather have bikini contests than pay attention to the real women's evolution, the first one in modern WWE anyway, that was taking place in 2003. Thank you to Finlay, as it was, who trained these women to actually be entertaining and put on a good match. Trish looks like she's got the hang of this one, the edge, before trying for the Stratusfaction. And this is how the match finishes. The rest of it's just a bit of a, just hitting the spots and doing the stuff because it's a fatal four-way match. All competitors are in the ring at the same time. Trish Stratus looks like she's going to be on top here and goes for the Stratusfaction, only for Victoria to chuck her over the top. It would then be a submission move by Jackie on Victoria, who almost looked like she was going to win before Jazz comes in with the big splash and the DDT, vicious DDT. Don't see that very much in modern wrestling. A DDT as a finisher. DDT on Jackie to win. Victoria's being taken out by the submission. Trish Stratus has been taken out by being let go over the top rope and smashing her beautiful face off the floor. And Jazz picks up the win. All of this match actually makes sense, and that is something that's lost these days with the copious amounts of super kicks and things like that. But either way, this match, the second best match on the card so far, and I'm happy to give this a 3 cheap shots out of 5 because I was thoroughly entertained by this match. All four women putting it all on the line, doing everything they could with the small amount of time they were given. And it is sad that they were given so little time, because I feel like this match could have gone on a bit longer and been even better than it was. And it's now time for the final match of the evening, featuring the reigning defending champion Brock Lesnar, of course, winning the championship against Kurt Angle, who is still injured at WrestleMania 19 in one of the greatest matches to ever appear on the grandest show of them all. And he is going against longtime rival The Big Show. No Paul Heyman at ringside for this one. probably for a good reason, because this match is brutal. It is a stretcher match. It is for the WWE Championship. And yeah, it doesn't take long for these guys to spill to the outside and start using what is available to them on the outside of the ring. So there's a couple of stretches on the outside. They make very full use of those, throwing them at each other. Two big guys just beating the snot out of each other. I love it. Smashing them into each other's ribs. A couple of near misses for both guys here in terms of going over the yellow line, which is placed at the entranceway. So the idea of the match is to incapacitate your opponent so much that you can place them on a stretcher and roll them over a line, like I say, placed at the entranceway. So a couple of near misses here for both guys. At one point, Brock Lesnar is on the stretcher, sits up, Big Show just clotheslines him, and Brock Lesnar does what Brock Lesnar does best, and that is sell. He rolls all the way over the line, but obviously this is a good idea for Michael Cole and Taz to mention that even though he went over the line, he wasn't on the stretcher, so the match continues. We get full use of the entranceway here. Brock Lesnar using it as a chin-up bar and swinging and kicking Big Show in the face. Big Show very nearly going over the line. However, with Brock Lesnar using one of the camera cables to incapacitate the Big Show, it's still wrapped around his neck quite tightly, and that stops this attempt for Brock Lesnar to get the Big Show over the line, so to speak. So that brings that to a halt. We then get Brock Lesnar trying to use the trolley, the gurney, to hit Big Show in the ribs. Big Show fights back, pushes Brock Lesnar all the way to the ring, and Brock Lesnar goes back first into the apron. Big Show on top now. He gets angry, throws one of the stretchers out of the way, and places another stretcher in the way. Noting all the time that they go so far as to place the nice padded cushion on the stretcher before putting their opponent on it. That's how brutal this is. You've got to have padding if you're going to defeat your opponent. Anyway, we get back into the ring. Big Show very much on top at this point and still not being able to incapacitate Brock Lesnar enough. Rey Mysterio's music hits. Big Show is kind of knocked out at this point, but not quite. He comes around just long enough for Rey Mysterio to hit the 619 into Big Show's gut and tries to come back and take his legs out. Big Show just smashes Rey Mysterio with a clothesline and he gets taken out. And just as the Big Show gets that glint in his eye, Brock Lesnar bursts through the set on a forklift truck with pallet attached. What is this going to be used for? Well, it's going to be used for Rey Mysterio to choke Big Show out, Brock Lesnar to hit the F5 and place the Big Show onto the forklift truck with the stretcher on it. Of course, you've got to have the stretcher or the backboard, and apparently that counts because the Big Show is completely out at this point. He is placed onto the pallet. He's rolled onto the pallet with the backboard. He is face down. He is on that pallet, on the forklift truck. Brock Lesnar expertly drives the forklift truck over the line, places the Big Show 20 feet in the air while he celebrates on top of the forklift truck. Brock Lesnar wins this match. It is a fantastic match and one that you don't get to see very often in the terms of a stretcher match, because I can't remember another one of these happening since. Now, they probably have, but nothing comes to mind straight away. Answers on a postcard or leave us a comment in the comments section. If there has been another stretcher match, I'd be interested to see how that panned out. And possibly it came at Extreme Rules when they changed the name of that pay-per-view. But yeah, genuinely, I can't think of another one. And it is a good way to finish a feud, to end a rivalry, really. Although the rivalry would continue in future years. But yeah, really good way to end a feud is a stretcher match. And I really enjoyed this match. And it's clearly the best match on the card. Not by much. The ladder match comes in a close second, followed by the women's title match, and the rest of it is just toffee. So I'm going to give this one 4 cheap shots out of 5. Well deserved. It is a fantastic match. It is brutal. It makes use of the stretchers, the backboards, the ringside area, the entranceway, which is phenomenal in this show, by the way. And yeah, really good match. So overall, Judgment Day had a wicked opening package. Not much else. It's not a good pay-per-view at all overall. The standout matches, like I say, are the stretcher match, the tag team ladder match, and the women's title match. Now, that is 2 for SmackDown and 1 for Raw as far as it goes. So yeah, SmackDown's killing it at the moment. When you consider that Raw has the talent that it does, the Battle Royal was okay, but kind of waylaid, really. And yeah, it's not a good show. It's not one to watch. But we move on to Insurrection. It always made me laugh because it has the word "rection" in it. Yes, I've not grown up in 20 years. June 7th, 2003. It's coming to you live from the UK, this one. So in my neck of the woods. I can't remember where this one's from. It's usually either from Manchester or London, generally. But I'll have to have a look for that coming up. So that is the end of this retro review. Let us know if you've watched Judgment Day 2003 anytime recently, and let us know what you thought of the show. I will see you next time, wrestling fans. Make sure you like and subscribe, and if you're listening to the podcast, do exactly the same, because that is how we get more views. And now it's time for a message for our sponsor, me. I'll see you next time, wrestling fans. I love doing these pay-per-view reviews. They just come in thick and fast, and I don't have a lot of time to do them, but I love doing them anyway, and there you go. That is my life. Woe is me. Anyway, goodbye.
Hiya.